5-10 minutes. Question 6, find the inverse. What do? How do we find the inverse? Let me see whether this works. Define f of x. So I'm going to define the function 2 times x minus 1 square plus 3 with the domain x is greater or equal to 1. That's not it. Okay. Yep. No, that doesn't work. Oh, I forgot the bracket. Argument must be... Oh, come on, that's just mean. Okay. One way to find the inverse, again, I'm defining the function, putting in the actual, what's the word, domain. This is how I would do it in the CAS. Because essentially what you're doing when you find the inverse is you swap the positions of x and y, and then you want to make the new y the subject. So instead of f of x equal to y, I now have f of y equal to x. This is essentially the inverse. And then I'm solving for y. The answer is going to be the inverse in terms of y. You do need to pick the correct one. But if x is greater greater or equal to 1, I think we're going with the first one, which is the positive square root. But it actually gives you the new range. Anyway, then answer for that? Greater or equal to 2. You need to go back and find the domain though, which is 3 to infinity. The domain of the inverse is the range of the original function. So there is no way, well, I think if you domain this, I need to delete everything. Let's see whether this works. So I'm going back to imply domain. I want to find the domain of this expression in terms of x. Yeah, it does work. So if you pick this to be, why is it that we go with this option and not the other option? Yes, this is the range of the inverse. The range of the inverse is actually given to be greater or equal to 2, which matches the domain of the original function, which is greater or equal to 1. So if the range of the inverse is definitely inside the domain of the original. I think if you look at the other option, you get a range that doesn't match the domain of the original, so you're not going to get that option. And then find the domain of the inverse just by using domain again. That will work. What is the answer? C? I think it's C. No, it's not C. It's B. D. Answer is D.